Ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da. See ya. Wake up and rise, open your eyes. It's breakfast with the Thomases, the ultimate prize. Mental Wellness Monday, work it out Wednesday, pay it forward Friday, we're seizing the day. Digital finance, underneath a love, serving food to what goes to, rising as a read and it, Eastern on P2GTV. Breakfast with the Thomases, come eat with me.
Hey. Grand Rising, everybody.
Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Mental Wellness Monday.
Absolutely. Whew. Let's just take some deep breaths today, y'all. It's Monday, and it's been a heck of a weekend. Grand Rising from California. Hey, sis.
Callie's in the house.
Out of here. Love attraction. Love it, love it, love it. Hi, sis. How you doing? How you doing? We got people on all platforms. I want to give love to all my people. We got Stereo rocking in the house, Clapper up in the house, Facebook, LinkedIn. Dang, I didn't even know we could get on LinkedIn. We got lots of YouTube babies. And our Twitch is still twitching, baby. That's right. It is a beautiful, beautiful Monday morning. I don't care what sun you see, what sun you don't. You better know it's there. That's how it works. Come on, baby. So Monday morning, we always make sure we get you into a space of good health and mental wellness. Why is that? Because stress needs to leave before it even arrives. Okay, that's a reality of things. And so what we're going to do today is I want to make sure we don't stress you out. Mr. Thomas tends to want to start off with the, doom and gloom story, but we always end, and just so that you know, if you're hanging out with us today, we're always ending on a positive note of something to do. Okay. This is something that's actionable, something you can make happen for yourself. And so we want to make sure that we give you true relief. Let's go, Mr. Thomas. What would you like to share?
First of all, what I want to share is we had a great weekend this weekend. It was a really good weekend this weekend. It was kind of cool.
Oh, yeah. We got invited out.
But we, and had a good time. Shout out to our friends that came to visit. It was a beautiful time. And we're going to have a little conversation around today. And I hate, like she said, I do doom and gloom, but sometimes.
I don't do doom and gloom because the truth is.
I don't. Because it really isn't. It's more of grabbing hold of wherever you are and doing what you got to do. Just grab one and do what you got to do no matter where you are. That's it. Yeah, because doom and gloom is not the right word.
I was going to be like, what? I don't do that.
That is not the right term. So apologies. But let's get into it. Let's talk. This is a conversation that happened with Ray Diallo, one of the biggest gold and silver people in the country today. And he was speaking with our people from ITM Trading. Shout out to ITM Trading. And I want you guys to just listen in. Let's bring it to the top.
Sorry.
We are entering the final stage of a cycle that has ended almost every major empire and every reserve currency in history. And almost nobody is prepared for what comes next. Ray Dalio calls it the big cycle. And right now we're moving out of a rules-based order and into something closer to the law of the jungle. You can see it happening right now. It's why everything is so unstable, uncertain, why people are so scared of what's coming next, because we have never lived through this phase in our lifetimes. But this phase has happened before many times. In fact, there is a pattern playing out, a much bigger pattern underneath the headlines. The Dutch Empire, the English Empire, and now, if you know what to look for, the American Empire. But every time the signs were there, debt levels that got too big to sustain, a currency that lost credibility, rival powers building alternatives, internal conflict, and eventually war. But here's where people get it wrong. They think that this time is different because the world is different. And it is more complex, modern, but complexity doesn't change the underlying pattern. Complexity merely masks the pattern, making it more difficult for those to see, especially if you're living inside of the system, which we are. But those who are able to clearly identify this pattern and see what's coming next before the next stage accelerates, they're not caught off guard. They're able to position and prepare before it happens. So today, we're not going to break down the headlines. What's the latest with the war? No, in fact, we're going to look at the pattern that's driving the headlines. Every cycle starts the same way, where one ends, another begins. And it always starts with war. When a major power becomes dominant and they control currency, trade, the terms of the entire system that the world's living in. And at first, no one challenges it because they're the dominant force. For us, that was the United States after World War II. We had the gold, we had the power, and we built the system. And at first, that system worked. In fact, it was successful. But the success of that system is what planted the seeds for what was to come next. When growth is surging and things look stable, that's when the borrowing accelerates. It's like adding weight onto a structure that was never designed to carry that much weight. From afar, all you see is growth. But if you get up close and look at the foundation, it's cracking and crumbling. It cannot sustain it forever. Growth is dependent on more units of currency. That's the system that has been created. And more units of currency does not create more wealth. In fact, I love Murray Rothbard describes the sensation of inflation as creating an illusion of prosperity in its victims. But it is always short-lived. You know what I'm talking about. Your cost of living is creeping higher. Groceries are costing more, but your income is going up. But at the same time, it feels like housing is more out of reach. And suddenly the income isn't keeping pace with all of the prices going up everywhere else. The illusion of prosperity is the top, but you can all feel that the overstretching is happening. This is when the cycle really starts to take a turn because it cannot go up forever. Eventually, you're going to have an economic downturn, which is going to prompt them to step in using the only tool that they know how, creating even more units of currency. But this is where I start to get worked up because currency creation doesn't hit everyone equally. Those at the very top, the elite, those in the know, they are going to be the ones who are benefiting, the ones closest to the creation of the currency, while those the farthest away, those on fixed incomes or those who have no idea what's going on and are just trying to scrape by, they are going to be hit the hardest. When you start to see the gap between the haves and the have-nots grow even wider, something that we have seen accelerate, especially over the last 6 years at a rapid pace here in the United States. This is where we are today. The system is redistributing wealth. And I shouldn't even say the system because it lets those at the top get away with what they're doing. Those in charge, those at the very top, they are redistributing the wealth. It is a wealth transfer. And again, what I mean by that is that additional units of currency doesn't just create more wealth. They are transferring the wealth from the many, from the masses to the few. But it's at this point in the cycle when the money printing and the credit is all running wild that you start to see the pressure rise, not just financially, but politically, socially. It's when the country is going to be more divided than ever before. And it's this internal conflict that starts to rise and bubble up that creates an opening for a rival power. See, throughout history, there's always been another power waiting in the wings, planning alternatives, building their next move. Because once you make it all the way to the top, there's only one direction left to go. which is down. And today with the United States, you can see this very, very clearly through the decline of the dollar as the global reserve currency, the de-dollarization process that is playing out today. Whether we're looking at China or other BRICS nations who are looking for an even seat at the table or a shift in power dynamics, as they say, a new world order, call it whatever you want. But ultimately, the world is sick and tired of the United States on a global stage coming out and saying, we wield all the power and we can do whatever we want with it. We can weaponize the dollar against you. We can freeze and seize your reserves. We can cut you off. With the push of a button, we can cut you off from global trade. Enough is enough for these nations, and you can see it whether you look at the percentage of dollars as foreign exchange reserves, which has dropped dramatically in the last 25 years. And then you see China and BRICS nations building alternative payment structures. All of this is chipping away at the dollar's dominance. Now, you tell me in the comments below, drop a 5 if you think we are at stage 5 of 6, stage 5 being debt and political restructuring, because all of these things are kind of happening at once. But with the dollar's dominance being called into question, the United States is now being backed into a corner, forced to respond, forced to protect the dollar. And the only way they can do it is by doing what? By printing more dollars. Spend more, take on more debt. I mean, how does this end for the United States? If we look at the cycle, if we look at the pattern, and we're in stage 5 right now, that debt and restructuring, do you think that the United States can claw its way out of it? Can you climb back up the cycle? Or is the momentum already there, right? Because again, every time throughout history, it's not the exact same date and time and year that you shift from one stage to the next, but the pattern continues time and time again. So you're fighting a losing battle. And today, all the headlines are focused on the war in Iran, the Strait of Hormuz, which, first and foremost, we're talking about a war. So I'm always going to say, primarily, of course, I'm concerned about loss of human life. But beyond that, I know in the United States, people are very concerned about prices at the pump. Rightfully so. That impacts a lot of American families. But this is much bigger than just prices at the pump. If we zoom out and look at this from a pattern that has repeated, again, for hundreds and hundreds of years for all empires, we are in stage 5 right now, meaning that stage 6 is right around the corner. And these cycles typically happen slowly, and then they speed up and happen all at once. And if you look at these past cycles, right, past major empires who also had reserve currencies, whether, again, we look at Dutch or English, every single time throughout history, when the currency collapses, when the empire fails, what happens on the other side of that? What happens on the other side of that collapse? Those who are holding the currency, the failed currency, they lose everything, because at the end of the day, this has no intrinsic value. It's just a piece of paper whose value can be changed on a whim. The United States government can come out tomorrow and say that this $1 bill is now worth 1 cent. They're going to do 100-to-1 revaluation on this, a reset of the currency. Throughout history, those who are protected are the ones who hold real money. And again, the difference between money and currency is that money is a store of value, right? Currency is not a real store of value. That is the difference. And it is gold that has been used time and time again throughout these resets to reset the currency too. So this is what you want to have on the other side. In fact, if you look at China, right, as the alternative rival who's coming for the dollar, what are they doing? They are continuing to buy gold in record quantities. Why are they doing that? Right? Yes, they're pushing the yuan. Yes, they're pitching whatever they can to try and get their currency ahead, but it's ultimately not a currency that other nations are interested in. Fool me once, right? No one wants currency again. They'll use it because they have to right now, but it is gold, physical gold that China is stockpiling, continuing to. They don't care about the price. They don't care if gold has gone slightly up or down or what's going on with gold, because at the end of the day, they know where gold is going. And they know that when this collapses or is worth significantly less, right? This is going to be what everyone is going to want to be positioned in. Think about this. In March, gold had its worst month since 2008, right? Panics. But guess what? What did China do? They continued to buy. They continued to buy gold. Why? Because they are not viewing gold like a trade, right? They are positioning for what's coming next. And as Ray Dalio always says too, I want to close with this quote. I love this. No system of government, no economic system, no currency, and no empire lasts forever. Yet almost everyone is surprised and ruined when they fail. You don't have to hold a worthless currency on the other side of the reset. You can hold real money. And if you want to learn more about resets and the stages of currency collapse and where we are today and how throughout history different assets have protected wealth through these resets, I am doing a live webinar on April 21st. It is completely free because I want you to be there. I want everyone out there watching to have this information. It is surviving the reset, the 4 stages of currency collapse. It is different than what we just went over today. It has a ton of information that will be tailored just to you and a live Q&A. So bring your questions. All I ask is that you register so that I know you're coming and that it saves your seat because there will be limited space available.
Okay. Coming back into this, that is awesome, by the way. I plan to be in that webinar as well. And I'm really excited. We're not in the webinar. We're not guests of that webinar, but I will be there for the information because there is nothing I don't need to know, to learn in this space. We want you to expand your learning, but bring it to a point where everything comes together. Too many of you guys are out there still running kind of loose and wild on on any of this information. Every time I turn around, someone comes back with some random thing that goes somewhere else, or there's something new and you're picking. The problem is you'll be caught in the other side because you never got focused on an action to take on a consistent basis. And that's where you will get stuck with those who have not. Because you will not have built and stayed steady long enough to build something, a momentum of getting something done. Now, mind you, I love you guys. I love working with y'all. I'm going to be really honest. I love the fact that everybody's trying to come together and do something. But if you can't make it happen except for through someone else, that's a problem. If your income can't grow unless someone else is paying for it, then that's a problem because that makes you dependent and you are now out there seeking people to pay your lifestyle. What we teach is very different. Now, while you make money, however you make your money, that's okay. I don't worry about it. People think that I have a thing against multi-level marketing companies. No, I have a big problem against scams and pyramid schemes. And there are definitely definitions of the two, but you have to know what they look like. Multi-level marketing has a requirement, my loves, and this is a run on that. It requires that you go out and find somebody to pay so that you can make your money. That's a sales job. I don't care what you call it. That's a sales job. Same thing with referral marketing. It's a sales job. Basically, you're getting paid to refer people to a product. Look, there are marketing companies that get paid for that. So if you can get paid to be effective to help someone build their business, do all you can. But if you need to go and you need long-term income, don't depend on people building people because unfortunately, most of us have to take care of ourselves first. We have to stay focused on our finances. If your finances are involved in larger markets, wider than what you can see, we always talk about America. American. What we teach is how to access international markets because the money grows out there, not in here. The dollar's losing value. So let's seek something else that's international. And that's why gold and silver is a big conversation. That's why cryptocurrency is a big conversation. Crypto does not have walls.
Nope.
Crypto does not have borders. I'm in New York and people go, oh, you can't this, that, and the other. That's okay. Trust and believe we get it done.
Excuse me.
You know what I'm saying? And it ain't illegal.
No, there's ways to maneuver around. There's definitely ways to maneuver.
The thing about it is you have to understand that all of that's a system. It's not the thing. We are not landing on gold and silver. We're not landing on crypto. We're not landing on land ownership. We're telling you, you have got to be a part of it all. And you need to educate yourself in how all of that works. One step at a time. So we teach you strategy, guys. Okay? We teach you strategy. That's the whole purpose. Why are we coming together as a community? P2G is really a giant network. That's really all we are. We're here to bring the resources. And we tell everyone, come in, bring your resources. You know, I want you to hop on our morning. So come on in the morning and come talk to us and come inside, drop video. I want you to drop links. Okay. I want you to drop pictures. Y'all understand? Drop your whatever it is that you are promoting. Now, while we're going to check and make sure that it falls in alignment,
Yes.
you can't just put everything out there. You're supposed to have a place where someone's putting your word out there. I want to just talk to my entrepreneurs, those who want to be in business, but you want to be out there on your own by yourself. Sister and brother there, you are going to fail because business requires connections. And you are not a one-person show. If you're a one-man show, nobody knows who you are. We've got to start taking and passing the baton. This breakfast show has to be something you share with someone. You want to see this platform grow? You want to see this? You want to see us be able to bring the prices down? You're going to have to let somebody else know because we're teaching valuable information about how the higher economy works. I'm not giving that away, and you shouldn't be expecting it for free. Y'all understand? You pay thousands and thousands, and some of y'all owe hundreds of thousands of dollars for an education that's not paying itself back. Y'all went to school, and some of y'all are still in school, and you owe with interest on something that has nothing to do with how money grows. The end of the line. And most of y'all aren't getting educated in how to get a job. I've been there. I've actually been in a class, an actual class, or I should say a training with people who had formal education. Why did they need to go to a training course? Because those training courses, the college never showed them how to put their hands on nothing. My love, we were not taught how to access and use systems. We were taught how to be used by the system effectively, how to make it seem as though the system was set up for us. It was. It's just not in your favor. If you would like to get something in your favor, you have to learn how it works, really. Not just depend on the formal education someone else paid for you. Because if you didn't pay for your education, guess what you got?
What they wanted you to have.
Thank you. Like they said, you get what you pay for. Free education is free programming.
That's funny. And I was watching the video today, and the first thing that came to me when they were talking about the financial reset was, to the victor goes the spoils. To the victor goes the spoils. Because if you look at the arc, and if you remember the arc that they had up, they were talking about how a wealth cycle goes. And I want you guys to think about the wealth cycle in your house. I want you to really think about the wealth cycle in your house. And if you're ahead and you make the plan for how the budget goes, and you decide who does what and where the money goes, at a certain point, you're at the top of your game. But if the top of your game came from someone else filling your pot so you can put that together, what then happens when the pot is no longer full? It's kind of like a giant roller coaster. You made it all the way to the top. You think you got it, and then someone pulls out the rug. So then you start you start pulling the idea of, well, I'm gonna try to maintain it. I'm gonna start putting more into my credit. I am going to use more of my credit. I'm gonna extend my credit, and I'm gonna get more out of it, and then I'm gonna get back to the top. Well, look at it this way: a wealth cycle requires a structure that you have to be in the conversation for, and in the working for, and practicing. You can't just think everything's going to come from the job. Everything's not going to come from one source. If your whole economy is designed on one source, you're bound to have to go up and go down. You know, a really smart guy told me years ago, and I didn't listen to it until too long ago. If you can define your income within $5,000 every year, you will never be wealthy. You will never get to be wealthy, and it will never work for you. So I want you guys to think about that while, you know, we're talking about all these different structures and all the things that we got going on. A lot of times we are in a position, we put ourselves in a position to say, we're going to do this, we're going to take care of our finances. What does it look like what does it really look like to take care of your finances when you are going to work all the time, coming home, going to sleep, getting up, repeating the process, and sometimes if you're lucky, you got one day a week to work on your finances, and you don't even see it, but the one day you do it, and when you see it that one day, what do you really got? What do you have time to do? You have time to go pay your bills, and then get ready for work the next day. You know, at P2G, we said one of the things that we talk about is paying yourself first. One of the goals is definitely to pay yourself first. And by paying yourself first, it gives you the opportunity to say, look, I'm important. I'm more, and Ruby says it all the time. And I think it's funny when she says it, I find it very humorous, but it also makes me think, are you worth 10 cents? Are you worth the 10 cents that you know, are you worth 10 cents to yourself? Can you give 10 cents of a dollar? And, you know, one of the things I heard, and I you know, sometimes I will parrot Ruby because it's like, wow, it makes sense. I don't have to recreate it, but I have to put it to work. And that's the difference. Putting it to work and parroting are two different things. So you have to find where you are. If you just come into the table and you hear a lot of good things and you repeat a lot of good things, you're not really doing the work. You know, you're not really doing the work, and you're not in the space for making it happen. You know, and I hope, you know, people are in the space. You know, you come to this program so you can get information. You can go to take the next step. Not great. I like what they say in the morning and go about your business, and then wait till Wednesday to come up for the next event to come up so you can come back and listen again and say, wow, that was good. I like that. I like that. You know, and you know, this gentleman, I really,
you know, tell people what the outcomes are that they want, Mr. Thomas. What are the outcomes we want from the conversations that you have? We always talk about think before you speak and pay attention to what someone says while they're talking to you. That's the process. Before you speak, you have to hear what people are saying. Before you speak, you have to have a purpose in mind of the outcome you want on the other side. But that is not what we're taught. Most of us don't know that's called emotional intelligence. But that's the thing. We're just learning about these things. My question is, when would you like to sit down and actually start making that happen? You know, a lot of us, you shake your head, yes, that this has to happen. And y'all understand that the price of this is this, and life is this, and life is that. And we agree. But how many of y'all agree to show up and sit down and start working that out? That's what we do on Wednesday nights. The whole day is Work It Out Wednesday. Wednesday morning, in the first part of the day, you get to be with a new guest of ours talking about how they're working it out and what the new things they're creating so we can have solutions in our community. Then you come, you get an open, free gift of a class you come into with questions about things you're interested in, and we show you. So my background is a troubleshooter. I'm actually a certified technician. I troubleshoot computer issues and problems. We own a company called Gotcha Techs. And when that company opened up, we discovered the biggest problem we were having was not people having broken computers. Mostly we had discovered they were broken people. You had lack of information.
Excuse me.
Paying me to come do something that if you just paid attention, if you'd ask questions of how do I do it, you would never have to pay another person. But you'd rather go around the same circles with the same habit of calling somebody. That's our financial system.
That's the comfort.
That's the comfort. Yeah, that's the comfort stage that they put you in. It's uncomfortable because our financial system is built for you to pay someone else to do the work because you've been convinced that you are not smart enough to manage your own money. Now I'm gonna ask you a question. Would you rather take $100, stick it in someone else's hand, and hope that you make money on something they said might cover it? Or would you rather take $100 with new knowledge and information that you learned how to do? Okay, because one of the things I might want to tell you is I forgot to tell you is that commission comes out of that money. So your whole 100 did not go in. Okay, just to let you know, they have to pull commissions for doing that work. That's the first thing. So you got maybe $80 after that. But now you know what to do. You have learned to research. You have learned, you know that there's new opportunities that are directly connected to you. You don't have to go through a third party. There's no third party now. Okay. So nobody got to give you permission to get your money back out with whatever you have made or whatever you have lost.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You pull it when it's time. You know exactly what's invested and what's not. Okay. You get to see the market and you know what to do with it. Your $100 was your whole $100. It still is. So whether you come out with 150, no one took a dime in between. Oh, by the way, the blockchain chips off bits and pieces called gas. That helps you move things when it's time to move. And guess what? It's minute compared to the 20% you're going to give to a funds manager. And you do that every day, every paycheck. Y'all been doing that every paycheck. We've been teaching people to take their paycheck and to make sure that their paycheck is consistently still working for them. And they don't have to ask permission when they need to pull it back. They don't have to ask permission when they need to buy something. They don't got to borrow from themselves at interest. Because when my husband told me that was possible, borrowing from your retirement, I thought that was the most insane thing I could ever believe. And y'all know something funny? When you borrow and you take a loan out, and this is new information for some of y'all, there's no taxes. There is a system for borrowing that you can learn that's tax-free and gives you access to assets that you have in for years to come. Years, you can't even touch it for years. You can't get your money out of this system for years. But you want to hear something? You can borrow against it tax-free, utilize the funds, and the interest is still building. You know how to do that? Well, you have to come have a conversation because I don't do one-on-ones without payment. And I have one free day. You get one free day. It's on the website. Go ahead. You don't have to sign up with no money, nothing. But you do have to sign up with your time. You do have to be diligent with your life. You have to take an interest and put it to work. You can't be in a hit or miss stage. I do not. Let me make sure I'm very clear. If you need to get into one of my classes, go to my website. Do not call me on the phone asking me to give you this, that, and the other. That is not how this works. That is not how this works. There's some people that I know and I love you. I'm going to be very honest. I love you very much. But if you want to be in the space, you will get there. I'm reminding folks that we are not pulling anybody through wealth. Ain't nobody dragging you through poverty. So no one's coming to get you and bring you to wealth. If you want to be in the rooms where the information is, then be in the room.
That's it. Make it real.
Don't call me on the phone because I already told you, you got a website. Let me just make sure you get this because this proper banner should be up there. Because see, I'm just trying to make sure y'all understand how life works. There is no professor in a college that has ever called you on the phone and said, why you ain't in class. There's no in university head or even a college advisor has ever called you and said, I've noticed that you are slipping in your attendance.
That's not their problem.
You understand where I'm coming from? They for sure took that money and you had to do what you had to do with the programming. Well, that's how it works at P2G2. I'm going to take my tuition and show up to class. The question is, where you at? Did life get too deep for you to manage your finances? I have had students that have had 2 jobs, parents that were dependent, children that were dependent. Some people were underemployed, had to work because they have no choice, and still show up to class. Still make sure that they catch up on the replay, so when they walk back in the door, they get the answers from the person with the answers. And now they got income helping them with those hours of the day, helping them get ahead. Why? Because they took the time to make it a goal. They didn't get distracted. There wasn't too much to do. There wasn't this or that. There was this one thing to get to what they want. We have got to stop being distracted. And let me just share something with you. I said I wanted to bring this up. I know y'all know last weekend we were at the National Action Network. We were there all weekend. Not this weekend that just passed, the weekend before.
Awesome weekend too. Very awesome.
Phenomenal time. Met some amazing people. You know, I stayed for a lot of the conversations. I love the firesides when people talk. When he does the one-on-ones. He does. Al Sharpton, by the way, Reverend Al Sharpton is the leader for the National Action Network. We call it the House of Justice. It's here in Harlem. He just got a new building. I'm so proud of them doing their thing. But I want to share something that I learned from the stage, because he had some politicians that were on there talking. A good portion of them are running. Let me talk to you about something they discovered.
Okay, let's hear this.
Some lobbyists that were in there talking about something that we've got to come to terms with. We got to realize, because people on the ground know this, but the people we keep putting in office don't seem to it doesn't equate to them. And when it's supposed to come to us and it don't get here, they're like, well, wait. We got the funds. You know what the problem is? It's not getting the funds. It's not putting through the rules. It's getting them enforced. So while you might be thinking these folks ain't working, there's a missing. Whose problem is it to make sure that these people understand that you got to do a whole plan, not a part of a plan? That when you finish with the work you did in them places in our behalf, you better make sure we got it. Guys, that's how I run my program. That's why I bring that up. I run my program. I do not create platforms where we just put it out there, and if you get it, you get it, and you don't, you don't.
No.
As long as you do the work on your end, my work gets done by making sure you got it. There ain't nobody else doing that. There is no college professor making sure you got it. There's no coach out here making sure you got it. But when you come here, if you're willing to run this, with me, you're going to get it. Because we are running together. I'm not running the leg for you. Not one foot do I put down on ground for you. Because I'm running the race with you. And in some cases, I'm ahead of you. And in other cases, you're ahead of me. But we're still running together. The network is about bringing the resources together. It's about building a structure that is impermeable to anything. But the fact is how are your structures going at home by yourself? How is your personal plan going? Because I got a lot of folks that's about to retire. My question is what's going to happen after you retire? Have you done your actual retirement income structure? Have you sat down with anybody that showed you how long it's going to take before you got to start working again?
If you can.
My loves, they ain't nothing but a thing. We do that all the time. We sit down together. We invite you to Wednesdays. Now, one of the things I want you guys to see, Mr. Thomas, why you took it down? I don't know why you took it down.
I'm sorry?
You took something down that you weren't supposed to.
Oh, okay.
So let me get you in. Let me get you in here.
Oh man, but I'm just like I'm not excited about what's going on though. There's so much.
I'm telling y'all, we are on. We are on point now. This is the time when all this stuff that we've been putting out for years, telling y'all this is gonna happen. All of a sudden, everything Miss Ruby said was gonna happen happens. Right? The world shifted just like we said. Well, where did you think how do you think we found out about the world shifting before it did? Because it was out there. Y'all don't pay attention to that stuff. We do. And when we do, we teach you how to find that stuff so that you are ahead of the game, so that you are on point with the movement of how things are. I didn't tell anybody Donald J. Trump was going to be the damn president. I told you that the elites are shifting the financial system because the one that was there was falling apart. And it had been for over 30 years. When I was a baby, when I was born, it began. I just didn't learn until 30 years later. Now, my question is now that you know, what will you do? Will you stay in the same system that's falling apart without anybody telling you what to do? You're going to go check the internet to find out what you can pull together quickly? Good luck. This is 7 years of my life. I've taken and compiled, and with people, other people, it's not just my life, because I've taken the time to create a network of people who have the same information and more come together and make a space for us to grow together. If we don't have that space, if you don't have a community, you don't have a way to move forward with a community of people, good luck. If you don't understand that life is bigger than you, the first thing you have to do is fortify self and home. You have to fortify your family. You have to know that that is happening on a real basis. Too many of us think that we're safe. How many of us think that we're absolutely safe? Oh, I'm safe. I got this, that, and the other. I got let's see, I got a 401k. I'm doing this. I got an annuity. I got land. You don't have a damn thing if you don't stop paying taxes on something and it disappears.
That's true.
You don't have a damn thing if someone can come and put in a lien on your home, can buy your debt from the bank and shut you out. Oh, that's not real? Y'all need to look that up. You got AI. Look at how many people's properties that they were actively paying on that a company wanted, that they closed out their debt. They sometimes will buy your bank and shut it down.
And that's a real thing. And it just happened. A few banks just got brought up.
Come on now. And that means everybody's loan and debt is now been passed on and they're questionable. My question is would you like to have something locked in your name, stock, lock, and barrel, where nobody can touch it? No matter what is on it? You don't want to know where that information is? Well, guess what? We do this every Wednesday. Let's get this down. So let me bring this to you. The new semester for this is coming up. Our 4-phase program, which is 12 weeks, okay, is coming up. April 30th is the new class. That's our orientation class. Orientation class. You have to actually be signed up in the program as a member. How do you sign up as a member? Well, you just go straight to the website. You see, I keep rolling across the screen. You go
yes,
to
indeed,
and go sign up for a membership. This flyer is up there. Go click the button and sign up for a membership. Oh, Miss Ruby, it's too expensive. Well, let me ask you, would you rather sign up for something that is hypothetical, or would you rather sign up for something that actually brings you the income to pay for it? I don't know about you, but my students are loving the outcome. That's if they're practicing what they saw. The one thing they will never tell you is that they didn't see many ways to make large interest in short amounts of time. They will never tell you that they didn't find ways to borrow and loan and borrow against their own finances and be able to pay their bills. They'll never tell you they didn't see that. They didn't never let you tell you that they didn't acquire cryptocurrencies that are now growing, because they did the research and they don't have the stuff that's sitting there waiting for them to grow. Mm-hmm. They learned how to move things around so that their finances are now growing. They're not gambling with bill money. Does that make sense to everyone? They now have a savings. They now have they have a potential retirement account that's now getting filled, not just talked about. Now, my question for all of y'all is, where do you stand in your household with that process? Now, we don't just do crypto. As you can see, it says it's pennies, it's gold, it's crypto, it's cash. And on my other flyer, there's land. Because some of my students own land.
That's right.
Land. Oh, yes, for real. They use their crypto to go get some land. And now they're getting rents money from different projects. Miss Ruby, how does that work? Show up to a Wednesday night and you'll get to see. See, because when you go to our website, you find that we find that people have a thing. They have a feeling like, oh, she's just trying to. You don't know me.
No.
I tell people, please do me a favor. You don't know me like that. So do yourself a favor. You've never seen what I'm going to show you because this has not been created by anyone else. I never recreated someone else's process. I've been building this for over 7 years. And I got people out there that will let you know, oh, she been out here. She taught us what blockchain was when we was getting robbed. She taught us how to recoup our money from theft. She taught us cyber safety, how to trust, how not to trust, how to determine, and how to validate for ourselves a good opportunity. I have lots of people who have plenty of testimony. And the fact of the matter is, I'm just really glad that they've changed their lives. That when they see this coming, they're not being railroaded like most people. You're either being taught to fear this new economy so that someone else can do it for you, and you just put the money in the bank, and the bank will control it because we got crypto too. Or
don't ain't the same crypto.
You're being lied to. It's not really crypto. It's not even, has nothing to do with the cryptocurrency blockchains. And now you're using something that is actually hurting you long term. You got a trap coming, and keep it in mind. We're not going to get into deep into it, but you need to come with it. You need to come ask the questions. I have a couple of people coming to our Wednesday night. They were looking for their link. They're coming to Wednesday night. They went this weekend. So from the Sharpton weekend, we ended up doing a job fair, and I want to be very thankful. I want to put it up. Thank you to Men of Purpose, who an organization called Men of Purpose, who invited us with many other organizations to come out because we were education at a job fair. They put on a job fair, and our role in that was to expose young people to this information, to bring them into understanding that things have changed. So while you may want to work a job, if you don't have financial literacy, you're just running on a treadmill, paying bills. That's not just for young people. That's for my elders, those who are about to retire. You're about to put yourself right back on the treadmill, not realizing because you never had that conversation outside.
There was a very wide berth of people at that organization, that job fair, and I met 3 people who were they were coming back to work after retiring, and they were saying,
reality,
I don't want to work hard, but I said, you retired and you're back at work. So what was missing? And I gave them, I showed them what we did, and I shared Wednesday night with them. We got a couple people coming. You say we have some people coming to Wednesday night, and they're like, "Wait a minute, I don't know how this works." And a lot of them are our age, some a little bit older. They haven't even done this. They depended on doing what the system says, how the system works, and they realized it didn't work for them because now they're going back in.
Yep, that's what I was trying to tell you.
They're going back in.
Y'all was sold a serious bag of goods that are not showing up to be. You were told back in the day, get yourself a good retirement package. When you went into work 20 years ago, 25 years ago, you guys got your job because you got those good benefits that way, and are going to have a really good retirement. You got your vacation time off. You got your little 2 weeks in a year. You got your medical coverage. All of this was good. But now you're at the end of the line. And you were told that you had been saving, giving money to in a retirement, and now it's at the end of the line. And you just found out that all that money that you put into that retirement is not covering.
No, not.
Is not enough to cover you to live without being at a job. At a job. You are now in your 60s and you now have to go back and get a job. You may be in your 50s. You got to start again. Who are you competing with? When you first got your job, you were competing with 20 to 30-year-olds. Guess what? You're in your 50s and 60s back competing with 20 and 30-year-olds. How's that going to roll?
That's the entry pool.
And the jobs that are, some people, I don't want to work hard. Good luck with that. Because now it's time. Now you're going to put your shoulder to the wheel. Because guess what? The jobs that are for offices are being reassigned. We now have AI. We are in a new day and age of information. Information age is not more people information. I hope you guys realize it's more technology information.
Yes, it is.
So you can't be the one at your job or the one that decided, I don't want that. I don't like information. I'm really not comfortable with AI. Because if you're that uncomfortable, you are just priced yourself. You basically priced yourself out of the economy. You pushed yourself away from being able to create income to keep living a life. Forget your life. Sweetie, you're going to be worked. That is why you see elderly people working at places like Walmart, Target. They're at their
statement.
They're actually the people who greet you. They're becoming cashiers rather. And even those are changing. Some of my favorite stores are becoming more technically inclined to where they don't have cashiers. They have instant checkout. You do it.
Yeah, they're called kiosks.
They have one person watching 8 kiosks.
Bank.
8 kiosk banks. And I've been to this one store, one of my favorite stores. I won't go back there. It's mayhem. When we're assigned to take care of ourselves in society, guess what? When we don't have people caring for us, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But that's the way it's going, guys. We're getting more auto self-serves out there because technology is taking over. And those who tell me, Miss Ruby, I don't understand, as long as you show up and you do the work, you'll get it, and you'll be practiced in it. See, that's a difference. I don't lecture, I coach. It's like a coach for a runner. The runner is not going to be talked to in the ear until they get it. The runner is going to be timed on their activity and talked to about how the movement needs to change, and then they go out and run again and do it until it changes. That's how P2G's digital financial literacy works. We are on the court 24/7 in our programming. You're getting programmed to think and see another way when you are on your own. Because the minute you leave these classes, I've already been there. My old partners used to go, our biggest problem is they don't understand. They got to do something. They can't just come to class and expect us. I always tell y'all, don't watch me get rich. Don't sit around watching me get rich because I'm doing this stuff. I'm consistent. I'm building my goals. Now, if you sit down and you run with me and you put those actions in, you now are working on you. That's how we do.
That's a beautiful thing.
That's how we do. You got to execute. But see, some of y'all need to hear some things. Some of y'all need to say some things. And that's what happened. That's why we're here the way we are. P2G is a network of people who recognize and we discover who you are as people. So when you come in, all the things that you bring from your life include, guys, yes, including the issues, because people go, Miss Ruby, I don't know if I'm ready for this because, I can't this, that, or the other. I asked them, well, okay, do you want to stop? They're like, no, I don't want to stop, but I think I have to. Well, the reason they think they have to is because it's difficult. We call that a challenge. And in this world, We are constantly showing that we can meet the challenge. So let's talk about it. You're going to come here to P2G's net website. Y'all going to see that. That's our university site. You're going to take a quiz and see what your DFL level is. Digital financial literacy. This flyer is about to change. That's going to be 8 o'clock every Wednesday. We are now moving all programming to 8 o'clock. This is phase 2. This is our current class that's coming on the 30th. Our first class is the 30th of this month. Starting this new 12-week adventure. If you contact me, I can help you get ready. We can help you get through whatever might be stopping and blocking you. But if you do not say anything about it, we cannot help you from what is happening to the world around us. I'm not here to save you. I'm here to show you how you can save yourself and continue to grow the process. We have a 4-phase program. Starts with your mindset building, moves into strengthening your tech tools. Then we get into how to get some of that tech working on your side, how to understand the tech economy and be involved in it, teaching you mental processes on how money works through technology. But wait, even more so, we don't focus on money. We focus on assets. We teach you the difference between money and assets.
Do you know the difference?
But you will get exposed. You can have them. You want money, you'll get money. You want assets, you'll get assets. You want both, you'll learn how to manage and you'll learn to protect them. But then we also want to teach you the systems of technology. So y'all know AI is important. It's happening. We also know there's the metaverse, there's NFTs, real world assets. There's digital land. Okay, yeah. Yes, we do. We have real estate. We have digital real estate. We also teach you how to build your skills into something marketable, how to take this to a job and become something different that they've never seen before, because you've got skills and you have a portfolio to show. Not your financial portfolio.
Please.
But you will have a digital portfolio that will show the work that you've learned, the skills that you've acquired.
And if you can, that will accelerate your position in the job because they now see you have workable knowledge, workable skills.
If you need a consultation, you need a one-on-one. Some people are more adept to one-on-ones, period. All you have to do is click the link and set up a session with me. We have a program on Sunday nights that's totally free. That's also becoming at 8 o'clock. It's to talk about being responsible for your finances in a way that takes you to the next level. Being able to create things like family trust, estate planning, and discharging and getting your debt situation together. Yes, credit control and management, because credit's important. Debt is important to building wealth.
Yes, it is. It's absolutely.
Most y'all out there are terrified of the one thing that'll change your whole damn life. And there are rules around it. If you learn them, you'll have more than you ever have and be able to keep it. But you got to show up. For those who already have they already are part of that program, we also have a community study to do your DIY. If you're going to DIY this process for yourself, we got a group of people that meet weekly, help out that process. Because you don't got to do nothing at P2G by yourself. And if y'all know anything, y'all know we are here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with Breakfast with the Thomases. Let's get it popping, y'all. Okay? This is your life. We share this with you every day. I hope that you guys got the QR code for the event, because I will be there on the 21st. I really am excited because she's done a couple of these. And if you're willing, someone's willing to do a seminar for this type of information, especially with the gold and the silver, because we want to show you how to build up to the finances for that. That's what P2G does. We take your pennies and we turn them into gold and silver through utilizing growth processes using crypto.
Yes, indeed.
I'm like, that's our whole process. Cash, crypto, gold, silver, land. That's not a hard concept when you start practicing it. When you learn how it works, 12 weeks is probably the best amount of time you have to make it happen. But my question is, are you too broke to learn? Mr. Thomas told you, he quoted something that I always ask my students when I teach them about the savings process, because you have to pay yourself first. I ask them, ain't you worth a dime? Ain't you worth a dime is what I actually say.
One thin dime.
If you ain't worth a dime, then why are you even thinking about why are you thinking you should have something else? Because all it takes is a dime to get started, to move your world. A dime out of every dollar, a penny out of every dime itself, to change your world.
Mm-hmm.
Come on Wednesday. Come out on Wednesday. The site, you saw the site and you saw how to get there. Come on a Wednesday night. Click the link. It takes you to Zoom. Sign up for the Zoom and make sure you put it on your calendar. Because I will show you the math that we do with crypto that turns a penny into assets. Sometimes 180 of them.
Come check out some of our groups. Come get in on our program. Get in on some of our other conversation. We're on all platforms, stereo. We're on YouTube. We're on Clapper. We're on Facebook, Twitch.
Oh yeah.
And they have chats there. Come say hello. Let us know what you.
Hold on a second. Hello. I want to make sure that everybody who's been on different platforms, thank you so much. Daniel, appreciate you joining us on Clapper. We got Brother Black Casper, who is in the house. Let's go. Let's go.
Hey, Grand Rising. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good day, Mr. Thomas and Miss Thomas. Hope you had a great, wonderful weekend. Sound like you did. I always say you made it. Somebody else didn't make it. If you see, like Casper out here on the streets of Stereo and Clappers for this Monday. Out here in North Carolina, be headed down to Arkansas. I hope you had a great, wonderful weekend.
He is
and
my
I'm listening to Stereo Streets and Clappers.
Black Casper, thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Be safe. Always. Blessings on that road. And I want to say thank you to everyone for your time and joining us. Honey, this was priceless. We hope that you got a great amount of peace of mind from today. Come and join us on Wednesday. See you at Work It Out Wednesday. Having a lot of fun. Keep coming.
Ooh, ba-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da, see you. Wake up and rise up in your eyes. It's breakfast with the Thomases, the ultimate prize. Mental wellness.